G'day humans, Chris Stead here. I'm on the road today. I'm at Dreamworld. Surely you've heard it, up on the Gold Coast here in Queensland. Now I'm here with a family of 5, including 3 kids, 10, 8 and 6, and we're going to have a big day of adventure here to work out all the tips and tricks that you may need as a young family coming here, and the best rides to go on while you're here, places to eat. Now, one quick tip for those of you who may not be aware, as we weren't when we got here, is that WhiteWater World and Dreamworld are actually 2 completely separate places. We thought it was just part of the one place. So there's a completely separate entrance over there for WhiteWater World. But if you do upgrade your ticket to include both parks, it's nominal. It's like an extra $10 or something. Just off the top of my head, I think it was about $99 for an adult to come to Dreamworld and $109 to come to Dreamworld and WhiteWater World. So obviously, definitely worth the upgrade there. Let's jump in and see if we can have a great adventure here today. Righto, now before we go in through the entrance gate, I just want to let you know that a lot of things have been rebranded since we were there, and I'll try and signify those for you when we go through, but like the ride's still the same, but just has new branding and a new name to what you might see in this video. There's also quite a bit of work's been done in recent times, including the replacement of the ABC area with Rivertown. And a few other bits and pieces. So in a few places I'll kind of grab some content from around the net. Keep an eye on the description so I'll give you a link through to the full videos if you want to watch them. Now this is one of those rides. This is brand new. This is the Dreamworld Flyer, which is, as you can see, it's a swinging chairs ride with a bit of a water effect around it. In the evening I believe it lights up as well, quite spectacularly. And this is like the first kind of ride you're going to come across. Now, I'll come through the park directly straight ahead. This is kind of behind the map, and you can see the giant ball in the background that we saw in the previous bit of footage. And now I'm going to peel away to where most of the rides are, which is to the right, straight ahead and to the right. And then we'll loop back around to the left and then go up the back of the park, which is where the wildlife and so forth is. Now, one of the big rebranding changes that have happened in, I think it's 2025, is that's no longer the Mad Jungle Jam. This is now Belinda's Treehouse. So there's a Belinda and Kenny theme that's come into what was originally like a DreamWorks themed area, and so same type of experiences, but yeah, basically just different branding. As you can see there, that's just a bit of a treehouse experience. You can climb up, you can shoot balls at each other. The kids really like it. And in a little bit, I'm going to go into a bit more detail as well about what I think makes DreamWorks really work. But just as we're going through here, I just want to point out a couple of things. This is the Escape from Madagascar ride before. Now it's called Kenny's Forest Flyer, I think. This is a really cool ride. So it's a roller coaster, but it's just tiered a little bit younger. So the younger kids can kind of have a roller coaster experience without having to do loop-the-loops and go full hardcore. My 6-year-old did end up going on this. It was a bit of a courage thing for him. It took him quite a while to get onto it. But my older kids, obviously they were fine. And my oldest went on everything at 10, and my 8-year-old was a little bit more tentative, did some, didn't do others. And then my 6-year-old, he didn't really like any of the big roller coasters, but he was up for this one. And one of the things about the Dreamworld roller coaster experiences is they're really quite smooth and nice. They all feel a bit new, they all feel a bit fresh. Obviously, Dreamworld's had to go through a bit of a revamp since the tragedy that happened a few years back. And there's a lot of new stuff here. So this area's got a whole bunch of rides which are, I would say, tiered slightly younger, but not without being kind of fun for the older kids. You can see another flying chair ride there. There's little Ferris wheels. There's, as you see in a sec, there's a Dodgem cars, and there's one where you kind of lie on your belly and you fly in the plane. So there's a fair bit here that's really kind of great for families that have kids in that, let's say, 13, 14 and under. Right. Once you kind of get about that 13 and 14 age group, they're probably more movie world. But yeah, I wouldn't discount Dreamworld, as I'll go into in a sec. I think Dreamworld's actually a bit of a hidden gem and something they should definitely consider. Okay, so this was, at the time that I went, it was called Pandemonium, I think. It was a Kung Fu Panda tie-in. It's now called the Serpent Slayer, and you'll see in a sec, it's just got a different look to it. but it is indeed the same ride, the same experience. You can see there, it's now blue. But it goes in two different modes. So there's kind of an easier mode, which just kind of swings left and right and doesn't go upside down. And then you have this mode where then it does the full upside down. Kids love this one. My youngest, again, he was pretty much just, I don't want to go upside down, which was fine. My daughter in the middle, she kind of grew up to it over the course of the day, and my oldest son, he was straight on it and enjoyed it. Although, yeah, I will say he was quite nervous at 10 as well. This is the first ride we went on, actually. But a really cool ride, no doubt at all. Here's that one I was telling you about. It's kind of just the lying flat on your stomach and a little bit of a flying experience. And yeah, it doesn't look like much, but the kids do really enjoy it. Naskadusha's got a new name now as well. I do apologise for that. I went here just before they changed it all. Yeah, there's just Dodgem cars. There's a Dodgem car experience in there. I'm sure you all know what Dodgem cars are like. And then this kind of circles, kind of loops back round towards some of the bit more thrilling rides. So here's the Gold Coaster. This is really fun. This is really just a classic roller coaster experience. It's got a decent length to it. Got a loop the loop, some nice banks. A little bit older, this one. Like it kind of feels a little bit older. It just moves you around a little bit. I apologise. There's no POV. They wouldn't let me take the GoPro on any of the rides, so it can be done, but you need to have early express permission. And I tried to organise it on the day or close the day before, and it was just too many logistics, unfortunately, but you can still get a good idea for it. A little barrel roll into a loop, into another loop. Yeah, it's a really cool ride. Yeah, that's one you'll definitely want to go on again. And they've really done a good job actually upping their roller coaster count, as you'll see as we go deeper into this tour. Now this is the Claw. So it is another one that has been changed. It's actually been completely redone. So it's exactly the same ride, but it's got a longer arm, which you'll see in a second. And it's now called King Claw. So it was the Claw, it's now King Claw. So same theory, but as you can see, just a bit of a longer arm, a bit of a bigger swing, and kind of hangs up a bit higher in the air. So it's just better than it was, but more or less the same experience. And my oldest son absolutely loved this ride. This was easily his favourite, I think. Maybe he liked the drop too, which we'll get to in a sec. But yeah, that's probably when he probably went on the most. This plane ride's actually better than it may seem to you. It doesn't look awfully thrilling, but you can actually move it around yourself manually, and it'll actually kind of almost barrel roll and stuff. This is Shockwave. So yeah, I guess kind of a roller coaster experience with a bit of a spin to it. Not an overly thrilling ride, but again, the kids still liked it. So I'm just going to go through a wander here. This is kind of circling back towards the entrance. So we've done a big loop around that kind of side of the park and seen all the rides. And now we're going to walk kind of back towards the entrance. Now this is through all your kind of eateries and stuff. They have a really interesting concept here where they have like these street trucks almost, and all this big variety of food that you can select from as you go through. As opposed to this kind of like individual restaurants. So, one of the things I really want to talk about with Dreamworld, and the reason why I really, really rate it, is that the queue lengths are so much better than they are at, in particular, Movie World. SeaWorld's actually got pretty low. I've done a review of SeaWorld. If you want to go see that, I've done a review of Movie World as well, and Wet World. So you can go see all those reviews on my channel. But the SeaWorld is probably kind of similar, but Movie World is insane, some of the queues that they get in summer. And the day that we were here at Dreamworld, we had other friends that we didn't actually know were in Queensland because it was summer holidays, and they were up there anyway. And we saw them in Dreamworld, and we said, "Oh, hey, how long have you been here?" And they said, "Well, they actually went to Movie World, and they were in Movie World for 3 hours, and got one ride, and gave up and came here to Dreamworld instead." And we were just literally getting onto the steel Taipan, which you'll see in a sec, and there wasn't even a queue behind us. Like there was so little queue. I think the longest we waited at any point was about 20 minutes, and other than that, we just basically yeah, the queues were so small. We got so many more rides in than we would have got at Movie World. I think that's one of the big positives here. And as obviously you can see there, by the way, a lot of shade is what's to eat as well. So here's a steel Taipan. Great ride. Feels new. I'm not sure how new it is, but it felt really new. It was so smooth. It just glided over the tracks. Like I said, there was no queue. There was probably more a queue in those rides that were a bit more broader, like we're kind of capturing the 8 to an older group, whereas this one was a little bit older. And it pulls you back, then it rockets you forward, and you go up and do some loops and a heap of corkscrews, and it's just a really, really fun roller coaster. So not quite as epic as the DC Rivals, the hyper coaster that they've got at Movie World. Like that's insane. That's probably the best roller coaster in Australia, I would say. So, you know, you're gonna have to go to Movie World if you want that, but you'll wait an hour and a half to get one ride on that. Whereas we got so many rides on this in a row, we got tired of it. And I'll tell you another hot tip as well, is that a lot of people come to Dreamworld and they do WhiteWater World at the same day, and it's too much, I reckon, to get one and done one day. You're better off doing it over 2 days. But people do, and so what happens is you get, that's the drop, by the way. We're going to have a look at the drop in a sec, which my oldest son loved. It's a fair drop. But a lot of people will come and do Dreamworld in the morning, then at lunchtime go over and do Waterworld because they want to be wet last, right? So what happens is the crowd actually thins out in the afternoon quite a lot because all these people go to the waterworks. So you're actually better off, if you're going to do both on one day, doing the waterworks for the first half of the day and the Dreamworld for the second half of the day, because then you're doing the opposite of what the traffic's doing and you get very nominal queues in both. But I believe it's worth 2 days. Like, we've spent a full day here at Dreamworld with no worries at all. So this is the Motocoaster. So it actually wasn't running when we were there, unfortunately, so I've had to just borrow this clip. Like I said, I'll put a link below if you want to see the whole thing. But as you can see, it's a roller coaster, not a loop-the-loop roller coaster. There's a very similar one at SeaWorld called the Jet Coaster, where it's the same kind of concept, but you're sitting on a jet ski, here you're sitting on a motorbike. It used to be tied into Mick doing it, I don't know if it still is. But yeah, that's that roller coaster. Okay, now here we are to Rivertown. So Rivertown hadn't quite been built when we were there, and in fact it was ABC Land or something like that, and had all this wiggle stuff in it and a whole bunch of very, very, very kiddie stuff. Now it's been completely redone. So you've got this right here, which is replaced the old vintage cars, which were around when I was a kid, I think in 1981. These are the new vintage car experience. It's called Murrissippi Motors or something like that. So the kids get to drive. It's very slow. It's not a thrill ride. But it gives the kids the sensation of having to drive. They've actually kept it pretty close to what it was like when the original vintage cars. It's a very similar steering wheel with a big soft pad in the middle, and the kids can just drive and it stays on the track, and they've themed it up pretty well and really nicely. So that is the vintage car experience that you'll now get. And they've also built this, which is the Jungle Rush coaster, which wasn't working when I was there, unfortunately, so I can't give you a hands-on review experience of this other than say looking at the footage. It looks like a lot of fun. Again, it looks like it's a bit more aimed or at least compatible with younger people, and I think that's good. I think it gives families more options. You've still got the steel Taipan, you've still got the Gold Coaster if you're a bigger kid, you've got the Claw if you're a bigger kid or an adult, and then you've got, you know, Kenny's Forest Flyer and this, and the motorcycle coaster as well, offering alternative experiences. And it's kind of neat how it kind of pulls you up and it switches your tracks, and you go backwards for the start and you go forwards for the last half of it. So it's a different kind of experience to what you get on a typical coaster. Again, the theming that they've done's really quite good. And I'm definitely going to have to go back there and try it out for myself. But that is the new Jungle Rush coaster. Feels like I need some Donkey Kong country music to it, doesn't it? Yep, definitely looks like fun. Oh, and look, you can see how well it glides too. All right, so onto the animal side of things. So on one side, you've got, so let's just say the right side, you've got Tiger Island. Tigerland, was it? So I guess you come in here and see some tigers. It's a pretty basic exhibit, but you don't get to see tigers too often in Australia. I like that you can get a look at them here without a giant fence in front of your face. We've got a fair bit of space there as well. And then if you go towards the right, to the left side, you'll come across that's your train track, by the way. You can catch the train around to get around the world. You get here to the Crobbery. And here's where you're going to see some of your Australian animals, see some Indigenous tie-ins with the First Nations, and pack kangaroos and see emus and dingoes and crocodiles and that kind of stuff. So it's actually a fair walk. You got all the rides in section, and then the whole back half of the theme park is basically dedicated to giving you a chance to get up close with some animals. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is probably there a little bit more for the very young kids, maybe even tourists, like not so much Australians, because you've got all these roller coasters and theme parks and all these roller coasters and rides to go on the other side of the park, like dominating the entrance to the park, and then way out the back you've got this experience, and it's hard to have time for both. Like I walked down there just to explore, as you can see here, and just see it for myself and get some footage, but there wasn't many people back there. And then last of all, you got Sky Voyager. This is actually a really cool ride. And so you go in there and you get kind of go through this briefing, and it kind of sets the atmosphere and everything, and then you sit in these chairs, and all you can see in front of you is this kind of screen that's taking up your entire view, and it's like you're flying through these landscapes in Australia and doing all these things, and the chairs actually move around and everything, and I feel like there's like mists and stuff that blow on your face, and it just creates this really visceral, cool experience. Anyway, that's my review and tour of Dreamworld. I hope that was of help to you. Make sure to keep an eye on our channel. Go check out those other reviews of theme parks. And until next time, I'm getting back on the road. You!